Good morning, Ocoee region. This is a great Thursday morning. You know what? I'm feeling thirsty. Thirsty Thursday. Yes, I'm feeling thirsty. Thirsty for knowledge, thirsty for understanding, thirsty for living on purpose. Yes, Transforming Greatness. I want to thank Transforming Greatness for sponsoring Hidden Gems of the Ocoee region. And I have another great gem that's been here before, so she's been uncovered. But I'd love to keep up with their walk, them living on purpose. And, you know, sometimes when you are living on purpose, God will take you here, and then all of a sudden, He will do something else and bring you over here. You see,
Absolutely.
or He will bring you up here. And so it's not a direct line, but it is His pattern to connect you into your next assignment.
Yes.
Your next assignment. So, without further ado, because we'll talk about this more, help me welcome to the show on Thursday, my girl, Melanie Frazier Lewis. Welcome, darling.
Thank you. Thank you. And I am so honored to be here again. And Tony, if anybody knows me, this is my favorite color.
Yes, it is.
And I don't know if you did that on purpose. It makes me feel good if you did anyway, or if you didn't. But I am just so thankful to be here again. Always a pleasure to be with you. Your enthusiasm is contagious, especially for the kingdom. And I just always leave you feeling encouraged, inspired, and that I can just do anything for the kingdom. And I love being where you are.
Well, we can, and we do.
Amen.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. So the last time you were sitting in that chair, that hot seat,
Yes.
you went to Gatlinburg, and yes, and you were there because you were working as a radio host, and I would say an encourager and a giver, just loving on the people up there in Gatlinburg.
Yes.
But in that role, you made a connection.
A lot of connections.
And
Yes.
yes, but this particular connection brought you to Deeper Revelation Books.
Yes.
And I'm going to tell the people, it had been
Go
prophesied
ahead.
that she needed to be walking in this. Not only as a PR marketing person for this organization, but she is to be writing books.
Yes.
Yes, for the kingdom.
Yes.
Hear me. So,
As many of you, as well as many of you are.
yes, there's a book in all,
So
at
there
least one
is.
book in all of us.
And as Mike Shreve says,
Okay.
God loves books. He is the author of the greatest book ever written.
And I love that. And they
Yes.
are the owners. Mike and Elizabeth Shreve are the owners
Yes.
of Deeper.
The founders. Of
Yes. And they're going to be on my show next. So y'all hold on for that because I want them to come on
Don't
and
wanna
give
miss
their
it.
testimony. But what a hidden gem in Cleveland,
Yes.
Tennessee.
Yes.
Okay? Who knew? I didn't.
I didn't know. And I followed Mike Shreve, the Mike Shreve Ministries. Mike is a best-selling author and has been on Sid Roth, Supernatural, many times, has spoken all over the world. And I followed him, and I had no idea that they were in my hometown. Now, I think God just hid that for such a time as this. And you talked about going to Gatlinburg, and you know, God speaks to us, and sometimes it's scary, and sometimes
Yes.
we can't see the next step, and we have to take it based on Him speaking to us in our hearts and the spirit of who we are with in our relationship with Him. And I remember one day I was walking. There's a lot of trails in Gatlinburg, so I was able to be out in nature and walk. And as I was meandering through the trail and, you know, exercising and breathing the mountain air, God had been dealing with me that maybe it was time to move to the next season. And I was looking at the brook, and as it was coming down over the rocks and, you know, different crashing through, you know, and if
Yeah.
it would hit a rock, it would divert to the right or the left.
Yes.
And it was like the Lord just said, that's where you are, and this is the place that you're at, but I'm diverting you over here. And you will continue to walk in your destiny, even if there are stumbling blocks, even if there are roadblocks, even if there are things, even your own insecurities hold you back. But God is going to finish what he starts, just like in Philippians 1 and 6. He's going to finish what he starts in you.
Good work.
A good work. And if you allow him. And so in that moment, I realized, you know, and of course, like you mentioned, I made all these contacts, and especially with Mike Shreve, because I was working for the radio station.
Yes.
And so had I not been obedient, I left my family. I left everything that I knew. I left you, friends like you. Not really, but, you know, I moved 2.5 hours away by myself, and everybody would call and say, you're there by yourself, you're eating, but, you know, you're doing all. And I really was by myself physically, but I was not alone spiritually. The Father was so apparent and so, and I could tell you so many stories, and you know part of them, but it was divinely orchestrated steps.
He put you in what I call divine isolation.
Oh, it was, absolutely.
Yep, because he needed to remove all the white noise.
Yes.
Even good friends.
Yes.
And because he needed for you to hear him.
Yes.
And him only.
All the diversions and I won't go into the story, but, you know, I had a atheist that was a professed atheist next door, and I call her a Christian now because I'm going to call those things as they are. And Jennifer Tuttle Gentle was here with me before. Right. We both worked with a radio station, and we ministered together. And the lady, she came in to bring us some food. We had ordered food. She worked at the place. And we just started praying for her. She said, I'm an atheist. And so we said, we don't care. We love you. God created you, and he loves you too. And she was receptive. We prayed. And she was so sweet to me the whole time I lived there. She would come. Mm-hmm. And so one day, Jen is there again, and we're ministering or working with the radio station, and there's a knock at the door, and it's a UPS man. And he said, hey, he goes, the lady that's the atheist next door said that you all are praying people, and I need prayer today. So, you know, God will even...
So he knew she was an atheist.
Yeah, the atheist. He said the atheist next door said you all would pray for me. So, you know, those are the times you know God has divinely orchestrated your steps. And if you're ever in question, I mean, you know, that's when God comes along and goes, no, you're supposed to be here, even if it's for one. It's like he'll leave the 99 for that one.
For that one.
And if I moved up there for one...
Yes.
Then I was obedient.
Yes.
So.
And you know what? You passed the test.
Yes.
Because, you know, that's a test of faith. Mm-hmm. Okay? And so when you, and you didn't know how it was all going to pan out.
No, I lived day to day, basically. And some days I was, some days I was lonely. I mean, I would have people come and visit, and they would leave, and as they would leave, it was like this little lump in my throat. And I'm like, here I am. And then God would remind me, no, I'm with you always. Yes. And so I would go back into the condo, and it was beautiful. God gave me the most beautiful, you've been there. The view, I asked God for a beautiful view. I had double 2-story windows and a fireplace right on Ski Mountain. Yeah. And I couldn't have asked for a more beautiful place. No. But my time was just up there. And now I'm so excited for where he's brought me, full circle.
I am so excited for you. And we're going to get into some of this today. But I just want to continue the conversation because I know you're always full of a word. And I've been through Transforming Greatness, as you know, I have a purpose mandate on my life. And not only to help people to discover their purpose, but to develop and walk in their purpose. Right. And so I've been on this journey of sending out these purpose nuggets. Mm-hmm. And I was just looking at them other day because I talked about unlikely allies, and that was tribulation, perseverance, character, and hope. Mm. And that tribulation produced perseverance, perseverance produces character, and character produces a hope. And so, and then yesterday, what's about ready to be posted is the other nugget in this walking out this journey is waiting on the Lord.
Yes. Well,
and that's one of the hardest ones.
it is.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to go through the desert. You want to run through the desert.
Right.
You know,
right.
but there are so many lessons to be learned.
Yes.
That you wouldn't learn any other place but the desert. And it's funny you mentioned hope because my Facebook post today was hope deferred. Makes the heart sick. And, you know, if we spend time with the Lord in His presence, He knows all of our hurt, and we trust Him in it.
Yes.
He can take us through to the other side.
Yes.
And sometimes you have to praise through to get to the other side. And you don't feel like it, but you can't go on your feelings. You have to go on that knowledge and that relationship with Him and the knowledge of the Word that is in you.
Yes.
And you are such an encourager. And anybody that is blessed to be on your mentoring or your anything that you're doing, I know you've inspired me so many times when I've had questions, and we all do. I don't care how deep you are with the Lord. I don't care if you are a TV evangelist or traveling or one of the biggest ones out there. You're human. You're made of this right here.
Yes.
And the enemy's going to come and why? Steal, kill, and destroy. And he wants to destroy your future, and that's why you have to be prayed up and full of the Word and not be deterred from your assignment.
Right.
No matter what. No matter what, even the closest people to you, your friends, your family that love you, and their intentions are very good.
Yes, it is.
They don't want your heart to be broken, or they don't want you to be disappointed, so they come in sometimes, oh, are you sure? And it puts a little seed of doubt, and their intentions are good.
No, it's from a place of love.
It's from a place of love.
Yeah,
So don't always think that they're not rooting for you. They really are. They just don't want to see you hurt. But you're the only one that knows what God is speaking to you. And so you have to come back at them and go, no. I know I had people when I moved said, what are you doing? Yes. You could get a job here. What are you doing? Your kids, your family, and I said, I have to do what God's telling me to do.
Yes.
I cannot do my own thing and be out of God's will. I have to do, and as painful, as hard as this is to move away, I'm a family person. I love my kids. I love my family. I lived in the same neighborhood as my parents for 20 years. I mean, I could see their house. And so to move and go do that was a big deal. It was a big deal for them, you know. But they all, you know, my children said, Mom, go. You know, you need to go. This is what God's telling you because they know me. But you have to encourage the people in your life as well.
That's right.
That God is speaking to me. If you kind of get in with them and go, I know, I don't know, you know, then they're going to be negative. So you have to be at a place where you're like, no, I know. This is what God's telling me to do. And it was exactly what I needed to do.
Amen.
And so here we are.
So everybody, the moral of the story is...
Yes, there's always one.
It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter. Sure. Let me tell you, what God spoke over you before the foundation of the earth, the seed that He put inside of you, that is part of His master plan, His master blueprint, it will come to pass. You just have to incline your ear and your heart and listen and hear and act.
Amen.
You gotta act, and you gotta act in faith.
You've got to.
So we're gonna come right back. We're gonna have a second segment to this interview. We're gonna come back and talk about Deeper Revelation Bookstore. Stay tuned.